Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Vero Beach. Hello to all of you present in the sanctuary and those online. I am Rebecca Brack. I am your pulpit host this morning. My pronouns are she, her, and that's mine. And I am a middle-aged lady with brown hair that's long, and I'm wearing one of my favorite blue dresses. It's blue like a china pattern. And I give that description to you if you're just listening or if you're visually impaired. I'd like to let you all know a little bit about Unitarian Universalism. I am a lifelong UU. I only have a passing understanding of other faiths, but I know that this is a great fit for me and the only place I would want to be. Please join us in the fellowship hall after the service for coffee hour. If you are a visitor, or if you'd like extra special attention today, please take a red cup so we will know who you are and make a special effort to greet you. I'd like to remind everyone to silence all their electronics now. You don't want to be that person. I'd also like to share an upcoming announcement. This afternoon here in the fellowship hall, the U.S. Air Force Band will be providing a concert. There are still admission seats, and it is free. So please join us for the introit with the choir. All of us are loved.
All of us are loved. Each of us is welcome. No one is a stranger. No one is an outcast. No one is alone. Everything we do when our hearts are grateful and our lives are faithful makes a better world, one that we can call everybody's home.
Oh, thank you. We start every service with lighting a chalice and saying some words that bring meaning to this time together. Go ahead and light that. Go on. If you'll join me. Today, we return to the shelter of each other, to arms that hold us in the midst of the storm, to voices that help us hear our own, to hearts that accept us for who we are. May we be for each other a source of safety and sending. May we offer each other both comfort and challenge. May the belonging we find here help us offer the same experience of home to others. May this time of blessing begin.
Hymn, Break Not the Circle, number 323 in your hymnals, verses 1 and 3. Rise as you are willing and able.
Break
Morning story is The Lord of the Cranes. This morning's story is The Lord of the Cranes, a Chinese wisdom tale. And in this story, Tian's pronouns are they and them. There are places in China where the mountains reach all the way up to the clouds. High up on one of these mountains lived a wise old person. Their name was Tian, which means heaven. There, among the clouds, lived Tian's friends, the cranes. Tian fed them and cared for them. The birds told Tian of the wonders they had seen on their flights down below. Tian was devoted to these birds, and they would do anything for them. That is why Tian was called the Lord of the Cranes. One day, Tian decided to go down to the city. They wanted to see if people were remembering to be kind and generous. So the old person settled themselves on the back of a crane, as one does, and flew through the clouds. In the city, Tian met a beggar. "Would you be willing to exchange your clothes with mine?" asked Tian. The beggar was shocked. "Oh no, why would you give up your splendid robes for such torn old rags such as mine?" "I have come to test the people," Tian said. "No one must recognize me." Then the beggar understood that Tian was no ordinary person and gratefully agreed to the exchange. Tian gave the beggar their blessing and continued walking. Day after day, Tian went begging through the streets of the beautiful city. Many wealthy people passed by, but no one seemed to notice Tian. Not a single person dropped a coin in Tian's cup. One evening, Tian arrived, tired and hungry, at a small inn. Wang, the owner, welcomed them. "What can I do for you?" "Could you give me a little something to eat and drink?" asked Tian. "I'm sorry, but I have no money to pay." Wang smiled cheerfully and waved away the apology. "Sit down, take a rest." Wang brought Tian a warm bowl of soup, rice, tea, and a plate of sizzling meat. Tian's heart was full as their belly when they left the inn that evening. On the following evening, Tian stood again at Wang's door. "Please, sir, could I have a sip of rice wine and a bit of," I'm going to mispronounce this, "joaz to eat?" Tian asked. "My pleasure, and don't worry about the cost," answered Wang. Tian ate and drank and smiled their thanks. From then on, Tian came every day to Wang's inn, where they were always welcome. Many months went by in this way. One day, Tian said to Wang, "I am deeply in your debt. You have been so good to me, I must find a way to repay you." Wang was quite surprised. "But you do not need to repay me. What I have given to you, I have given gladly. It makes me happy when I can help someone." Tian smiled. "Nonetheless, I would like to repay you. Of course, I have no money, but I can give you something else." Tian untied a gourd from their walking stick. It looked like a water flask, but Tian used it like the finest sable brush to paint a picture of 3 cranes on the wall. Wang was astonished. "It's wonderful," he exclaimed. "Heavenly." "Just wait, it gets better," said Tian with a smile. They started to sing and clap their hands, and the cranes began to move. One by one, they fluttered off the wall and danced to Tian's song. Wang's eyes and mouth were wide with astonishment. "Let your guests be merry," Tian said. "When they start singing and clapping, the cranes will dance." Tian turned to the door. "Wait, just who are you, my friend?" Wang called, but Tian just gave a friendly wave and disappeared. Soon, everyone in the city was talking about the wondrous dancing cranes at Wang's inn. More and more people came every day to marvel at the beautiful birds. Before long, Wang was one of the richest men in the city, but he always kept a seat free and a bowl of soup ready for anyone in need. One day, Tian did return. Wang hurried to greet them and set them at the best table and brought them a delicious meal. Please Please, tell me who you are, he begged. Tyann didn't answer. Instead, Tyann lifted their flute to their lips and played a melody that was so tender and beautiful it brought tears to Wang's eyes. That was a melody from heaven, whispered Wang. I thank you for allowing me to hear it. You made me a rich and happy man. How can I ever repay you? Teach others to be as kind and generous to the poor as you have been to me, said Tyann. That is my only wish. Tyann raised their flute to their lips and played the melody from heaven one last time. The three cranes stepped off the wall and knelt before Tyann. Then Tyann stroked them and said, I thank you for your help and my friends. We will now fly home. He bowed to Wang. Farewell, good sir. Tyann flew on the back of the cranes, up away from the city and into the sky. A great flock of cranes accompanied them. Wang stood watching the sky long after Tyann and the cranes had disappeared. At last he knew who the unusual beggar really was. Deeply humbled, Wang returned to his inn. For the rest of his life, Wang tried to fulfill the Lord of the Cranes' wish, telling all who would listen of this miraculous encounter with the beggar in disguise and urging them to share with those less fortunate. And now, please join me in singing the children out to their classrooms.
As you journey, may you know, love and hope go with you, love and hope go with you. Learn and grow.
Well, look around. There's people here. Wow, fabulous. Why don't you get to know them? I encourage you to, if you can, get up or wander over, say hello, get to know some of the folks here. We're going to build a community.
Much better. Getting around pretty well right now.
Yes. Oops, upside down. Well, this is the time in our service when we acknowledge that we come together with our own joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. Before us is water, the very sustenance of life. Water can buoy you up, nourish, cleanse, replenish you. It's a source of life which creates beauty in the very making of tears. This community, like water, is a sustenance of many of our lives, especially when we remember our sacred obligation to buoy each other up in times of sadness, to nourish one another in times of want, to cleanse one another with acts of kindness and generosity, and to replenish one another when our hearts are weary and worn. Today, with this water, I remind us visually of our sacred obligation to one another. I add some salt for the tears that have fallen this week. May we remember that there are those among us in pain, so let us be tender with one another, for we know not what is in the silent sanctuary of one another's hearts. And I add some flowers to remind us of the beauty and joy that surrounds our lives, that floats on the surface of many of our faces and enlivens our spirits. In a moment, I'll invite those who find it meaningful to come forward and place a stone in the water. But for those who wish, I am happy to put a stone in the water for you if you raise your hand. Upstairs. Those of you who find it meaningful, please come forward. all that we offer one another keep us connected and blessed within this hour and for the week ahead. May it be so. Amen.
This is the time in our service when we express our gratitude and commitment by sharing our financial resources. To contribute to the fellowship, please place your offering in an envelope found on the back of the pews, or you can donate by using the QR code, both printed in the order of service and shown above. Just point your phone with the camera app open and then click on the little bar at the bottom. Our offering today also serves another purpose, that of supporting an organization that addresses the needs of the underserved in our community. That is the purpose of our Sunday Fund, one of our congregation's major social justice outreach efforts. Today's Sunday Fund recipient is Team Success Enterprises. They aim to alleviate human suffering, homelessness, and hunger. They provide mentoring programs and transportation for those in transitional housing. Additionally, they help low-income people move to better housing and promote strong families with activities at the Hope for Family Center. As we now receive the offering, let us do so generously and gratefully.
And now let us enter into a time of prayer, meditation, contemplation. Each of us has our own way of entering that space. You might take a deep breath. You might let your eyes rest or close. You might place your hands within each other's grasp. I invite you now to turn your attention within. Spirit of life, woven into every breath, every gathering. We come with our longing to be part of something whole, not perfect, but whole. May we remember that belonging is not given once, but offered daily, again and again. And the courage to reach out, and the patience to listen, and the willingness to be changed. When we falter in fear, in fatigue, in forgetting, may we begin again in love. Let us be builders of circles that widen, keepers of doors left open, stewards of spaces where truth and tenderness can meet. May this community be not just a refuge, but a growing ground for trust, for justice, for shared joy. And may this always, always be so. Amen.
Oh, dark is the night, and narrow the way, though the tempest may rage, and chill to the bone, still the promise is bright, like a beacon of light, that will welcome the traveler home. Welcome the traveler home, as out in this wide world we wander alone. Though the ways twist and bend, we know in the end we will welcome the traveler home. Though late is the hour, and long is the road, and I stumble and stray from the path I have known, for this prodigal son, the long journey's done when you welcome the traveler home. Welcome the traveler home, as out in this wide world we wander alone. Though our ways twist and bend, we know in the end we will welcome the traveler home. The winds they may bellow, the seas they may rise, like ships from the deep far from shore. We look for the harbor, we look to the skies, for the wide open heart and the wide open door. 5 and 20 years more, still our spirits will soar as we welcome the traveler home. Welcome the traveler home, as out in this wide world we wander alone. Though our ways twist and bend, we know in the end we will welcome the traveler home.
Welcome, safety, and belonging asked three central questions about relationships. When someone comes into our lives or comes into this congregation, do they feel welcomed by us? Do they feel safe with us? Do they feel that we have a place for them in our lives? With my psychological background, I'm familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The physiological needs of humans are at the base: food, water, etc. These must be met first before we can even begin to consider some of the higher order psychological needs. Once the physiological needs are met, we can work on feeling safe. Safety is foundational to any psychological grounding. Humans cannot consider other needs like love, belonging, self-esteem, self-actualization until we feel safe to do so. Over 20 years ago, I considered the question of safety while serving another congregation. I asked myself, was the highest purpose of the congregation to be one of the few places that members and friends could truly be themselves, safe from hurt, abuse, harassment, prejudice that they experienced in the outside world, at work, perhaps with their friends or family, or even just walking down the street? Or was the highest purpose of the congregation to be one of the few places that members and friends could come together and make a difference, be a change agent in their community? At the time, I was a new minister, and so I observed through new minister eyes. And what I thought I saw was members and friends of the congregation focusing a lot of energy on being a refuge from the outside world. They didn't seem to focus as much on how our congregation could make a difference in our city or state or nation. They held a lot of discussion groups about the problems of government and society. But it seemed to me that a majority of their time and energy was spent creating safety, avoiding engaging in the world. Perhaps my eyes were like that because I am a white, cisgender, heterosexual male, and I felt safe enough to go out into the community and take risks, speak out on same-sex marriage, supporting people of other ethnicities and cultures. And I just really wanted our mostly white, mostly affluent members and friends of the congregation to take some risks like I did, not just huddle together within the walls of our church. I've come a long way since then. I now realize it is not my role as a minister to put expectations on other people, congregants or people in the community, even for causes that I feel passionate about. Thank goodness, right? I can only make choices for myself and take risks for myself. I cannot and I will not judge what level of safety any individual is experiencing or the reasons they make their choices about how to be in the world. I respect and support the choices of this congregation, whether those choices lean toward safety or lean toward taking risks. The world has changed considerably since I started ministry some 25 years ago. And the changes have been particularly acute this past year. Safety and risk have again risen to the front of my mind and heart in equal measure. And I wonder, is that true for you too? With the growing suppression of free speech, I've noticed fear creeping into my heart. It came to an emotional peak this week as Jimmy Kimmel was fired or taken off the air at CBS. I wondered what would happen if I stood here on this pulpit on a Sunday morning and said what he said. He said, the MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. And they're doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there is grieving. Are we going to get kicked off YouTube now? Would our 501c3 nonprofit status be revoked? Would we be, or are we, safe? And yet, the need to fight for our democracy and the rights of others has never been so important. Our Welcoming Congregation Working Group, for instance, continues to make efforts to put an LGBTQ flag or banner on the side of our building, or maybe paint some of our parking lot in rainbow colors in support of the Pulse nightclub Rainbow Street art that's been removed in Orlando. They believe that a banner or a flag or a painted rainbow would serve two purposes. One is to let the community know what we stand for, and the other, to let people in the community know that this is a safe place for them to come to. As I mentioned last week, new people are visiting us every Sunday. Some are looking for welcoming. Some are looking for community, a community of love, where they feel they can belong. Some are looking for a safe place where they can be with people who accept them just as they are. A safe space where they can speak their truth without suppression. A safe place to be able to explore ideas or beliefs that they might not be able to explore with people outside these walls. And some people have come in these doors ready to work for justice. Justice and equity and peace. Ready to add their bodies to ours, to take the risks necessary right now in this moment to stem the tide of racism, suppression, oppression, hate, and prejudice. Other people join us because they just want a place of peace and comfort and joy. And others, well, maybe it's the music. I want anyone who joins us, who visits us, regardless of why they come in those doors, to know you're welcome. And we will work hard to make this a pretty safe place for you. We offer you love. Please, please know we will make a place for you here. A pretty darn safe place for your body, your voice, your whole self, just as you are. And you don't have to be perfect. Because, well, we aren't either. Even though the world might not offer you a radical welcome, know that within these walls, we make every effort to do so. Now let me share a reflection by Unitarian Universalist poet and activist Mickey Scott Bay Jones. She says, "Together we will create a brave space, because there is no such thing as a completely safe space. We exist in the real world. We all have scars, we've all caused wounds. In this space, we seek to turn down the volume of the world. We amplify voices that fight to be heard elsewhere. We call each other to more truth and love. We have the right to start somewhere and continue to grow. We have the responsibility to examine what we think we know. We will not ever be perfect. This space will not ever be completely perfect. It will not always be as we wish it to be. But it will be our brave space together. And we will work on it side by side. We love one another. We care about one another. Sometimes something can be said, or something can happen, or someone can get hurt. But here's the thing. We have a covenant with one another. And we believe in the promises that we made to one another to try to be our best with each other, to try to treat each other with empathy and respect. And we are committed to work through hurts with one another when they happen. We are committed to forgive, to reconcile, to come together again in relationship in the spirit of love whenever there is hurt or miscommunication. We are committed to taking the risk of being our whole selves with one another And sometimes that's a challenge. But that is what it means to be in a brave space. And I guarantee you, we work here all the time, every Sunday, every day, creating a brave space as a congregation. At General Assembly, our yearly denominational meeting this summer, we were encouraged to be brave, to take risks, to work in the world, to meet the moment. We were urged to be the change we want to see, to work for justice, equity, and peace. And I have to tell you, when I heard the message, I was all in, despite the turmoil and divisiveness in our country. And I am still all in, despite my growing fear. And I believe many of you are too. All in. I do know that it is hard. It is so hard to be all in. People are leaving the country. Some people are moving to safer states. But I will tell you that I am here to stay, to fight the good fight, to create the good trouble. Each of you will have to make your own decision about what you're willing to do, both individually and as a congregation. And I will tell you that as a congregation, it's most likely that we will be a plurality, that we will probably not all agree on the willingness of the congregation to take certain risks. And that's fine. We will still be in community with one another, and we will still love one another, regardless of what decisions we make. Here, we are committed to work through problems to possibilities, through fears and faults to generosity and abundance. The world will test us, as Tian tested the city in our story, and maybe we'll be disappointed sometimes. But we will still always be there for one another. We will always try to model kindness and generosity in this space and in the world. We might not have all the answers to what all the world throws at us right now and throws at the marginalized communities. But here in this space, we are not afraid to ask the questions that need to be asked of one another and of the world. And my friends, the questions are often more transformative than the answers. So I guarantee you, from this pulpit, I will continue to be asking questions.
Our closing hymn is called "We Belong to One Another," another new one, but a very familiar tune. I think almost all of you will know this tune. So rise as you are willing and able. It's great words.
We build a world together, full of
Let's be the welcome we crave. With open hearts and arms outstretched, let's embody radical welcoming and unquestioning love. Let's be the welcome we crave, enriching, understanding those who join us, so that we may embody the community we crave here and now. Amen.